Hello. So today's guest is Alyah, a designer, strategist, and creative director, helping visionary businesses craft magnetic experiences rooted in strategy, sustainability, and soulful storytelling. With a focus on creating meaningful impact, she partners with innovative brands looking to turn their ideas into unforgettable experiences that not only feel beautiful, but truly connect on a deeper level. I hope you enjoy our conversation.
Excited too. I know this is like one of the times that we've tried and we've finally been able to like sit down and get this going again and just have a convo. And yeah, I'm great. Halloween just passed.
Yeah.
It's like the Monday after. And yeah, we were talking over text this morning about just like the stuff, um, or at least I think I was talking to you about like the stuff that I've just been feeling into and seeing and yeah. But yeah, I'm doing good. How are you? How's everything?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so excited to chat with you today. And I'm so excited that we get to talk about, a little bit of everything. That's sort of always what this was going to be.
Yeah.
And now that we're sort of headed into the end of the year and how there are all sorts of different energetic, actual rituals and practices that people go through. There's a lot of symbolism with the end of the year. And so I would love to just start by chatting a little bit about, is there anything special or specific that you do as a calendar year is winding down, either to reflect, to look forward, anything that sort of helps ground you, motivate you in all of your creativity and your creative adventures?
Yeah, so definitely I love to, you know this about me already, but I love my alone time. Though I do love to be in company with others. I actually just put out a note on Substack the other day of like, okay, I'm like starting to admit that I am like, what is it, an introvert who loves to have long, beautiful flows of conversation, but I love to reflect on my own afterwards, and like that's totally okay. Because honestly, that's something that I've been really insecure about for a long time of like, I love to have amazing conversations and deep conversations, but I need my alone time to like ground in and just reflect and be by myself and like literally stare outside my window or like go for walks in nature if that's available or just sit and think. Even like in the shower, just thinking or washing dishes. I love to be introspective, and that's just something of mine that I've always loved to do. It's a part of my makeup, I suppose. And yeah, I guess as the end of the year has like it's been coming in, and I was thinking about this morning too. It's like I do things that my family doesn't really do. Um, but I've taken it upon myself to be like, I want to do this for myself. I want to start these traditions for myself. And hopefully down the line, as I start my own family, we can continue to do these traditions or just like morph it into something else, something new. But I love celebrating Halloween. We were talking about that a little while ago. And even this morning, I was talking to you about what I've been feeling energetically, but I love to celebrate these holidays around uh, like spirituality and community because as we start to get into the end of the year, I'm going to say starting with Halloween or Samhain or Day of the Dead, All Saints Day is what we celebrate on Guatemala too. And it's all along this weekend, these few days, they're all about community and celebrating with community, but also introspection as well. Um, and then, of course, we get into Thanksgiving in the Americas or in America itself, United States, and then Christmas and then New Year's. And if you want to even lump in Valentine's Day into that, that's also have to do with like love and community as well. But I love to just take on this introspective note of, okay, um, reflecting on how the year has been as we're getting into this more cooler, at least in the northern hemisphere climate. Things are changing, the leaves are dropping, um, the air is different. As we enter this new season, like we all see it and feel it, it's like a new era, a new chapter. And of course, that's why we have the new year at that point too. And I love to just sit and reflect on what has happened um, over the year. I know we've also spoken about this too personally. It's like we use our own birthdays as like New Year reflections as well.
Mhm.
But this is another point of the year that I love to just reflect and be like, okay, it's autumn going into winter, or it's winter going into the new year. How is everything? What has changed? And also, for me, it's something else I was thinking about this morning, since All Saints Day, Day of the Dead, both Day of the Deads just happened, is, and that's something that I personally celebrate, is about the people that I've known or beings that I know, because I also think of my dog who passed away. She's not a person, or she wasn't a person, but she was a being. Um, and there's this there's this thing, depending on if you're into it or not, that around this time of the season, um, autumn going into winter, the veil is thin, be it between the spiritual realm and our current realm, and I do believe in that. I do also believe that I'm intuitive and I have my own abilities that I'm starting to agree to, like, okay, maybe I do, of like clairvoyance, claircognizance, and because you hear about this stuff, you're like, nah. But anyway, I've been feeling more into these energies and into the people that and beings that I've known and reflecting on them and feeling even their energies too around this time. Like, I know I recently came back from a trip from New York and I felt Luna with me when I got back home, and I felt that she was waiting in my room for me. And I haven't felt that in a long time. And I thought, okay, veil is thin. It's happening. Um, and then my uncle the other night, who also passed away a couple years ago, I felt him and my grandparents. And I've known a lot of people who have passed. Um, that's my trajectory so far in life is I've loved a lot of people that have now passed on, and how I've started to, and it's so funny, I've gotten chills on this side of my body
Oh my
just
gosh.
talking about that. Um, but how I've gotten to reflect on them and accept the passing and everything is to become more introspective, more reflective as to what this could have taught me. And it all goes back to love and community for me, um, and to do what lights you up, and to think about, like, my grandparents, for example, or my grandfather, my abuelito. He loved he loved everything American.
Oh.
Funny enough, he loved cowboys. He had a barber shop. He loved motorcycles, um, and he had such a joy for life and adventure. Same with my uncle, such a joy for life and adventure. And these are the things that I reflect on during these time periods of, okay, everything's soothing, calming down. We are coming out from being outside all the time in the summer to being inside, in a more like, not condensed, but homey environment, and all the thoughts come back too, and all the memories come back, and I'm just like, okay, these bad things did happen, but also how I remember these people, these beings, is through what has lit them up in life, and through what I can sort of like in memoriam, you know, I'm trying to like figure out a way to say this. It's like living for them in a way, but
Hmm.
living for myself, but in their memory, in
Hmm.
different aspects of life. Like, even my mom and I were gonna make this recipe that my grandmother, her mother, gave her,
Wow.
and we're gonna do that very soon. And that's something that we do. We like to cook together in memory of my grandmother. Um, so just the little things. We're just, I don't know, taking a trip in memory of people, and or just taking time to just play. That's what I think of whenever I think of Luna, is just being yourself and playing. Because she was a poodle, so she
Hmm.
was very much, she had a personality, she had a character. Um, and she was an expander for me in so many ways of being her goofy, confident self, and people didn't always understand her too. But she had such a big heart, and she loved to be goofy, and just, she was also very princessy, if that makes sense. Like, very
It
much
does.
like, mm. Just, yeah, it's just the little things that just remind me of like, okay, these are the ways that I can be and live. And when it comes to creation, this is how I can create more freely, you know,
Mhm.
um, in memory of these things that if I let like negative talk get to me or limiting beliefs, which is something else we can talk about too if you want. If I let those get to me, I don't get to remember the good aspects of what life can be. I hope that makes sense. But yeah.
No, that totally makes sense. And it's so beautiful to hear that there's within the reflection, it's not the reflective practices that you do, it's not just what have I done, but it's reflective of your community as a whole and sort of everything that has taken place collectively. And so
Yeah.
that's really beautiful to hear. Um, and as you were speaking, I was making the connection to the picture that you have behind you because I know that you have mentioned um, connecting with nature, and I know that you've shared with me previous in different experiences where you've connected with nature and sort of had that um, almost like that introspective confirmation happen through nature. So, if
Yeah.
you're willing to share, I would love to hear a little bit more about. I know the picture behind you is really special. If you are willing to share a little bit.
Yeah, sure. And I actually have two pictures behind me, but this main one I remember talking to you about. This one I got from the British Museum, which was
Oh,
really
wow.
cute and nice. And it's honestly like a little postcard, like a little 5x7. And it's like I think it's from the 1800s. It was a drawing done by a scientist, I think. I can't remember, but I don't know. When I saw this picture in the gift shop part of the museum, I was like, I love it. It matches like my personal like inner aesthetic so much. And then when it all came together, it just reminded me of like light and dark. But I remember when I first hung it in my previous home, my apartment, when I first put it together and put it on a wall, it it brought in a sense of warmth and specifically like femininity, you know.
Mhm.
um, with it was a balance of femininity. And for me, how I see it now is it's a balance of the more um, me trying to like get the words out of my mind, a soft effervescence
Mhm.
with uh, let me actually pull in the more masculine, logical energy. Um, and I know it also can just be because this is like more of a scientific sketch. But when I saw it and it put together, I was like, oh, that's so awesome. It's so beautiful. And I don't know, it ties into different aspects of me who appreciate a nicely decorated environment. And then also it ties in a bit of warmth and nature too, because back in my old apartment, I didn't really have a lot of um, things that reminded me of the outside world in my apartment. I had a couple plants, but that's something I always like to have around me is something that reminds me of nature, the outside, whether it be a candle, to help bring in the fire aspect, or I know my mom has these fountains, those fountains that you can like get on Amazon or something, and they're just like little water fountains that's just like going. She loves that. So it brings in a water element into your home, and um, yeah, when it gets into that, it as I'm starting to talk about it, I'm like realizing, oh, this is literally just me like kind of giving a bit of feng shui, and then also like balancing the energies in my home with like different things that either are from the outside or remind me of the outside. Like, dude, I remember as a kid, I used to collect rocks, and I went to Shenandoah back in 2021 and I brought back rocks. And they were like these big, beautiful rocks, and I still have them somewhere. I think they're in my living room. And I still keep them because I love the texture of them. It
Mm.
has like patches of moss on it, and they're like beautiful bluish gray rock, and I have them, I think, next to this like landscape painting with these beautiful like mahogany like frame. I just love the balance of texture visually, aesthetically, design wise, but also something about bringing in the touch of nature into your home. It feels so comforting.
Yeah.
And then also this other one. It's I won't talk about it too much, but it's literally just like a moon scene. I can like I think show you. I don't think I have my background blurred, but it's just like a little moon scene. I
Oh,
don't know if you can see it.
beautiful. Yeah, the moon was just out of the screen.
Oh,
So I
okay.
could see that it was like a cloudscape, but now I could see
Yeah.
the moon. That's beautiful.
Thank you. But this is also something that brings me a lot of comfort and tranquility,
Mm.
serenity. Um, which honestly, now that I think about it, I like to balance my space with a lot of tranquility and serenity because the outside world is crazy.
Yeah.
And it helps keep me just like fulfilled. And
Hmm.
that's just like my personal thing. I know everyone has their own ways of how they want to have their environments. And for me, this is what harnesses that creativity of like, okay, it's safe to create, it's safe to be. And that's another thing. I'll get into it kind of a little bit, but I have realized over time I've struggled in allowing myself to feel safe enough to create,
Mm.
and that's scarcity, Jesus, for me. And that's something that I've been working through for a long time is okay, you don't have to be in survival mode anymore. You can create. And
Mhm.
how I decorate, how I involve different things in my environment, it really helps.
So thinking about, your utilization of nature and tranquility in order to create that safety for yourself,
Yeah.
is that something that you find that you take into your creative projects, or would you say that that's more in the space? Like, do you more utilize that in sort of creating a space for yourself where you can then explore? I don't know if that question makes sense, but
It does in a way. And I hope I can answer it because like yes and no. And I'm gonna say it depends.
Mhm.
'Cause I did make one piece just literally listening to the latest Lady Gaga album. I was so inspired and I just started painting. And I think it that also has to, now that I think about it, it does have to do with feeling safe enough to express myself, feeling
Mhm.
safe enough to create. So, yes,
Mhm.
yes, it does all have to do with that. And I realize, I think I've told you before too, that I've been on this journey of finding my authenticity and finding my authentic self and feeling safe and in that and feeling safe being seen too, even if I fuck up, you know, and I'm just like, I do something cringy. I'm realizing that the space I feel the most safe is in my studio, which is where we're at, or where
Mhm.
I'm at now, and you can see me. Um, because it's my personal little bubble.
Mhm.
As I live not on my own anymore, I live with family, but yeah, I feel the safest and the most authentic when I can just be on my own. And this is
Mhm.
also the place where I reflect too. So it's where I do my business, but it's where I can just be. I can literally shut the curtains, close the door, put on my headphones and just journal
Mhm.
or like do a meditation or something. And yeah, if it also helps, I feel like it's all connected, to the career and to creativity. Um, yeah, it's a thing. One influences the other. What is it? Art influences life or something, and life influences art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. That's really beautiful. And I love the
Thank you.
I love the utilization of the same space in multiple areas of your life, using it as, yes, this is where I create and this is where I do my business, but this is also where I reflect and I think about, sort of that going inward that you've talked about. As you mentioned, you and I have spoken about how, with both of us having birthdays around sort of the start of the school year time, that's sort of when we do a lot of our reflection, when maybe some people do closer to New Year's. Um,
Yes.
but is there anything sort of as we get into the colder months. I know you mentioned it's sort of, we all sort of naturally are inside more. We're doing a little bit more um, hibernation, I guess you could say. We're not
Yeah.
as, exactly like you said, we're not as outward. We're doing a lot more inward. Like, do you notice that this is a time when you do a lot of like big picture strategy thinking with your business? Do you find that this is more like thinking about your day to day? Like, is there anything in particular that you reflect on, or do you more so think about, okay, like these are the things that I really enjoyed? I'm just sort of like curious about, if there's anything that specifically comes up for you around this time of year.
Yeah, totally. And honestly, it's changed as I've like gotten older and like my perspective and my outlook has changed on different things. Like, shoot, I remember back in corporate, this is around the time that I would be like, okay, now it's the time of the year that I have to start writing down everything, compiling everything to prove myself as to
Mhm.
why I deserve to be recognized and seen. And given the pay raise I had been fighting my ass for, just like doing everything for. Like literally, I felt like I was clawing, and that's not very cozy or healthy during the winter time.
Yeah.
um, and yeah, back in my few college days, years, I shouldn't say days. I never really fully graduated, so that's what I'm saying that. But back when I was in the college times, it was a time for me to think, okay, and it was more driven by scarcity. What am I gonna do? You know, money is very tight right now. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. And once again, I'm actually going to write a Substack post about this. It'll be out by the time this is out, of course. um, I came into like a bit of a test-ish sort of thing last night where I saw a job opportunity for a job that I actually wanted to intern at back in these college days. And this was an agency local to me that had all the bells and whistles. And when I saw the job opportunity last night, this past weekend, I immediately got the ick because I was like, oh, I feel what my body felt like back in that time period of I need to prove myself as to why I am like a design student, but like I can do so much more and I can be so much more and just give me the chance to like be at this agency and hopefully eventually get like paid well. um, And I just want it to be seen as a creative because even back in college, now that I think about it, I didn't feel enough
Mhm.
um, as a designer. And that's something many creatives go through, whether you're an artist, producer, editor, whatever it is, writer. And anyway, going back to today and what I do now, that I realized, wow, I've changed a lot over the years, is that I realize I do so much reflection and introspection throughout the year
Mhm.
that when it does come time for the winter season, I don't really think much about, okay, new year, new me, resolutions. I'm just like, okay, now what's next? And I allow whatever comes in. Like, literally, I think about it like downloads or intuitive hits, or just like whatever itch I get of like, remember that project that you started back a few months ago? What about that? And I'm realizing, speaking on intuition and just all that stuff, that when these things do come up in the wintertime, they're more calm and grounded, you
Mhm.
know? But when when they have a sense of edge to them,
Mhm.
that's when I know, oh, that's scarcity. And oh, that's my
Mm.
inner self from back in the day coming back up of no, we have to prove ourselves and no, we have to do this by this time period because if we don't, everything will fall apart. Money, and honestly, I feel like money is one of the things as a creative that can ruin you. And I want to be very careful when I say that because it's how we perceive money and how we perceive abundance.
Mhm.
And if we just perceive it as the tool that can make or break you, then I feel like there's so much scarcity behind that, and that can like really affect you.
Mhm.
And if anything, what I would really, really hope that people understand from this time of the year is please please don't let this scarcity energy of what can come up in our society of like new year, new me, new year resolutions, got to get back in the gym, got to get this body for whatever. Please don't let these scarcity tactics get to you and listen to what you truly need and what you truly want.
Hmm.
If you want to have like, I don't know, if you want to have a beach bod in like February, you do you. If it feels right, do you, you know? But listen to what truly lights you up. Um, and of course, when that comes to creativity too, listen to what your body needs to feel safe in being
Mm,
creative, without judgment, without scarcity jumping in and like fear tactics. Like immediately, I just think of scarcity marketing, you know? When people are
yeah.
just like, there's only like this much time and like, you better do it because once it's done, it's done. And then honestly, I'm coming from the world of marketing too, so I really hate it. um, and once the thing is done, once it's over, that time period, it's just like, okay, is that it? Is that really it? Like, it wasn't even that big of a deal, you know? Anyway, um, but yeah, I think in this time period now, what I'll go into is just for the winter season, into the new year, after the new year, is just truly listening to what I need.
Mm,
And sometimes it's like I need to connect with more people and like check in with friends and family and hopefully see them, you know, maybe have dinner. And other times it's like I need to take more baths. I need to actually journal and listen to what my mind is trying to tell me that I push away into my subconscious over the day. Because that's such a that is such a bypassing thing, and I feel like so many of us do. We bypass because we have to get through our days, you know.
hmm.
And sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to sit and just let whatever I've pushed come back up to the forefront and work through it. If it's like actually kind of scary, you know, or just anxiety or whatever it might be in this world that we live in.
I I loved what you said about basically giving yourself permission to not buy into the scarcity tactics that they're kind of always around.
Yeah.
But like you said, especially this time of year, it's the push for the end of the year or, looking at the year to come and it's like, oh, you got to start it off on the right foot. And it is very like anxiety inducing a lot of times. I think that it's so refreshing and beautiful and very like easing to hear like you actually don't have to do any of that. The best thing that you can do for yourself is listen to yourself and see like what is it that I need? Not what is someone telling me that I need, but what is it that I actually need?
Literally. Because like when you said like it's just so anxiety inducing, it reminded me of the whole lock-in thing. And I'm
Mm,
sure it's still happening. People are like lock in for the first month or whatever, lock in for the next 3 months, for the first 6 months. And right now, as we're filming, I've been seeing so much content of you better lock in if you want to be this type of person. You only have 3 months left to the end of the year. It's just like, I didn't ask you. Like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Time is an illusion too. That's another topic. um, like, God, it reminds me of there's this book. I forgot if I told you about it, The Power of Wonder. And there's
I
a
think
chapter
so.
in there, I think, all about time.
Hmm.
And it was something that Einstein even said at one point of like, yeah, no, I mean, time is literally an illusion, you know? Um, and it's up to you on how, I guess, the energy that you put into whatever it is. But I I don't say hate a lot. I feel like I've said hate twice today because it just really got to me. We were talking earlier and I said hate. And this was about spirits and stuff of like how I really hate how people go into areas that have spirits in them and they like disrespect the spirits. I absolutely hate that. But
Mm,
now I hate the scarcity behind these lock-in tactics because it
mhm.
feels tactical, you know, like war, masculine in like the toxic way. Not all masculine is toxic, but you know. And it's just not fun. It's not fun to put that onto people. It's not cool. you know,
Yeah.
especially when this world is so chaotic too. It's just let people be, you know, if they want to do it, great. And also some people don't work on timelines well either, now that I think
Hmm.
about it. We all have our own flows of how we work, and we have to respect that. But if you
Yeah.
don't know, you don't know, and then you have to go through the stuff to figure it out. And yeah,
It's the way that you just described sort of this whole like lock-in concept and how it can be very masculine, but like you said, that very toxic masculinity.
yeah,
It reminds me of it's almost like a um like last train type of thing. Like you have to do this or else you'll be left behind. Like,
really. Ooh, that is very much. Sorry, you're reminding me of the community aspect that goes back in back in our caveman days of you have to be with the community or else you're kicked
Hmm.
out of the community. And the or else, the scarcity of the or else, that meant death back then. And we didn't want to
Yes.
die.
no, and so that's it triggers us. It's
Yeah.
and that's what makes a lot of people sort of click into that.
It's the
Um,
amygdala part of the brain. Yeah.
Yes.
okay, so something else that I'm a little bit curious about, because as you and I have spoken about before, and as we've already mentioned, we sort of do reflection around back to school because that's when our birthdays are.
Yeah.
Um, And then I know that you and I have spoken previously a lot about your connection to different elements of spirituality, like
Yeah.
astrology. And so that made me think, okay, I know that the astrological new year comes up in, I would say early spring because it's late March, right?
Yeah, the equinox, yeah.
Yes. So do you do anything around the astrological new year? And then, sort of thinking bigger picture, do you find that you sort of naturally do anything at the beginning of the summer too? Like, do you find that you sort of have like quarterly check-ins? I know you mentioned earlier that you're sort of always checking in with yourself,
Yeah.
always. Um, but I was just sort of curious because I know that you are very connected to astrology, numerology, things like that. So I was just sort of curious how, if or how that played into things for you.
Yeah, totally. And as of right now, I don't really find myself taking the time to set up like a ritual or like ceremonies per se. Like I don't have, yeah, I don't really think of it much as anything, but now that I think about it, it's like, but it is something, you know.
Hmm.
Every time that you intentionally sit down to do something or you intentionally take the time and make the space to do something, it is something. And I just feel like, yeah, throughout these time periods, so like at the beginning of like the winter season or like the equinox. I love the equinoxes. They're so cool to me because like that's I'm also a science girly, so like I love all this I love learning about this stuff. How we tilt and everything, but I do find myself setting time to intentionally just sit. Sometimes I light a candle, incense. Like I know yesterday, because this was the weekend of like Halloween and the Day of the Dead and stuff, I remember saying like I want to light some copal, which is an incense from like Mexico and like Guatemala that we use in our cathedrals. Like you walk into a cathedral there, you're gonna smell
Hmm.
it. Like, and I have some at home, and I'm like, I feel like I need to light some to clear the space, you know.
Hmm.
But then also, it's something that I picked up from something my mom told me that my grandmother used to do every Christmas and New Year's. When the clock struck, she would go around the home when everyone was sleeping, and she would bless the home. I don't know what she would do, but she would bless the home in her way. Um, and so when I learned about that, I think I learned about that maybe when I was like 15, which was pretty late in life now that I think about it, or late to me. Because these are things I feel we should grow up with. But when I learned about it, it took me a few years to feel comfortable doing it
Hmm.
because it had been so long that we didn't have traditions around these times. Which, by the way, I don't think I said it before, but I grew up in a very mixed household, and because of that, we sort of did and didn't practice different things.
Hmm.
My dad is he converted to Islam back in like the 90s or 80s or something. My mom grew up Catholic, because she's Guatemalan, though she doesn't practice it anymore. It's a very interesting dynamic. Um, but nowadays, as I've realized over the past few years in my early 20s of like, oh, I have authority of what I want to do in my life, and oh, I want to do this, and like I'm gonna get incense and I'm gonna take the space to get different oils that I know soothe me and like put them on my vagus nerve and light the candle like my Palo Santo candle. Um, I'm gonna take the time to learn what feels good to me and make that like a mini ritual. And every single time I feel the inkling to, and I also know like, oh, it's actually happened to be lining up with like these things happening too, like the equinox or the official start of summer on the day where it's like the highest point in the sky, you know. Um, these things happen, or like on my birthday. I I do set the time intentionally just to be and just to take space and reflect or to cleanse the space, to cleanse the air. Like even now, like I was saying, like I do feel like I need to cleanse the air in this house because I do, I feel like there's been a lot of interesting like just energies. I don't want to say spirits because I'm still myself a bit skeptical. You always have to be skeptical. But I feel like there's been a lot of weird energy coming
Mm,
up and I'm not used to it.
mhm.
And I know at least for me, it could be a placebo effect. When I feel like I put intention behind clearing space, it just makes it feel a lot better for me. Um, so anything where you can clear space, whether it be spring cleaning, I know I have to do some quote unquote spring cleaning, and that helps me feel better. Um, and setting a new stage for a new chapter, new phase, whatever it is. Whatever it is to clear space intentionally and to set time aside to do something intentionally, I feel it helps. And if you or your audience, if people aren't doing it, which I know you're doing it in your own way, but if people aren't doing it, I highly recommend it because it's so beautiful. Like not just spiritually, but also like if you are like an atheist person, if you don't believe in whatever it is, when you set the time aside to actually do something, you put your mind to something, you get it done. That's scientifically proven. Like you're gonna feel better, clearing your space, clearing your area, even doing chores. You're gonna feel better whether you believe in this stuff or not. Yeah, yeah.
I love that. And what I really loved about what you just said was how you talked about anything that you do, you're still taking the time to do it, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be a ritual. And I'm thinking back to our conversation from a couple minutes ago about this whole
Yeah.
idea of like locking in, and I feel like so much of what that so much around what is intimidating with that is also this idea of like it's very strict and it's very rigid and it has to line up in a very specific way. And so I loved what you said because it's like a permission slip that you give yourself almost of like I can do this, because this feels good today, and I can do something different in a week, or if I'm doing it because it's around this specific time of year, next year I don't have to do the same thing. But it's like, again, going back to what you said, like, what do I need right now? And
Mhm.
really focusing on that and less about this idea of like, it has to be, this one specific thing, but it can actually just be what you need it to be.
Yeah, and honestly, these ideas were definitely born out of a place of feeling so afraid to do anything, because I didn't want to mess up. I didn't want to be bad as a kid. I wanted to just stay safe,
Mhm.
and in my lane if I could, just to get through whatever was happening, because I was so like anxious as a little girl. And yeah, it took a long time to be like, okay, it's not a big deal, and
Mhm.
it's not that deep overall, and it doesn't have to be so serious all the time. Because I'm not serious I can be. But like I'm definitely not serious all the time, and just because something says that you must doesn't mean that it's true.
Yeah. It's so I had another guest who said as well. She was like, it's not that deep. And so
Yeah.
it's so interesting to hear that like it is sort of this collective understanding that we're all like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's right. It isn't like it's not that deep. It is truly what are we, what do we need right now? And that can be whatever it turns out to be.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
So an anecdote that you shared a little bit earlier today was around a black cat showed up sort of in your life, in your experience, and you talked about the magic behind that because it was something that you had kind of been anticipating seeing or been expecting. And so I would love to just hear a little bit about sort of how that symbolism came to be for you.
Yeah, so I sent you a voice message this morning and I was talking to you about this. And as I was sending the voice message, I saw this black cat pop up. And I just realized it was three, let's just say blocks away from me. And I was like, and as I'm saying it now, I'm like, oh, three is a special number for me too. I remember you told me that three is very important to you, and I'm like, three is important to me too. And I just realized it was three blocks. I was like, wow, okay. Um, anyway, I woke up this morning and I got this intuitive hit, and just around the energies of getting into the season of autumn as we go into winter. And I remember thinking, like, I have like these questions, but also like statements, and it's also like how I speak to universe or whatever that I feel like comes through me, which sounds like very channely and witchy. The thing is like sometimes I just have questions of like, how do I know if I'm like on the right path? And like, can you give me like a sign that I'm okay? You know, basically like, can you give me a sign? And then for some reason the sign that I knew like, okay, things are on the right track, getting into like the season, into introspection, finding my own power. Um, it was a black cat, a black cat. If I see it, that's when I know, like, okay, I'm good. I'm on the right path. And that's just something that I thought, and I was like, well, we'll see how long this takes. I don't, when I ask for signs, I don't expect it to be like that. Which is why when I saw it, I was like, in the voice message, I was like, no way. And it was so cute and playful. And it just like popped up out of nowhere. And it was in, as I was telling you, it was like in a very like my I'm trying to like figure out the wording. I even forgot what I told you. But it was like a very zoomed in lens of like the scene because it was far away. It was like three blocks away, but I could still see it. And it was just like this little scene of like trees overarching it, and then like a building, and then just like a little bit of ground. And I just see this little cat just pop in and just like do like this. And it starts playing with the leaves and stuff. I'm like, oh my God. And it's being so cute, you know? I'm just like, oh my God, it's a black cat. And it feels like it's just for me because it was in that tiny little spot that you could barely see, but it was there in full, like you can see its whole thing. And I was like, this is amazing. It's so cute. It's being playful. And I was literally sending a voice message to you just talking about, I guess the weekend and stuff. And it popped up and I was like, oh my God. And then it went away. And I'm like, okay, okay, good. I'm doing good. And I forgot exactly what I was talking about, but I was talking about something that I felt was in like the spiritual realm and stuff. And then it popped up at that moment. I'm like, okay, I'm onto something. I'm onto something.
You were talking about how you don't like when people don't respect the spirits.
Yes. And then it popped up. Oh my
Mhm.
God, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Dude. Because like I told you, like I love being a skeptic too. Like I will look for the fallacies if I see any. But if I see enough like good go signs, okay, that's crazy. That's amazing. And there are things that we can't quite explain, but it's like we alchemize it, we manifest it, or it shows to us. And yeah, I really just don't like when people are disrespectful. When
Yeah.
people are disrespectful towards energy, especially whether it be, as I guess I was talking about then, of disrespecting places that hold a lot of space for energy that have passed on, ghost spirits, or in general, like respecting boundaries, I know it's something I've seen a lot of, you might have seen it on TikTok too, of like, and I know I'm talking about men again, but men having the audacity to bump into an energetic space, sometimes in like nice ways, but most of the time, sadly, in ways that are just so obstructive
Hmm.
and disrespectful. And yeah. And the thing is, what I was talking about then too happens to also do with men bumping themselves energetically into spaces with the audacity. But they're spiritual, that like the spiritual landscape. So yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and it was so cool to hear in real time the way that this transpired. Like you were
Yeah.
literally, 'cause I got to hear it on the voice note. You were like
Yeah.
talking about, the spirits, and then all of a sudden you were like, a black cat. Oh my
Yeah.
God. And then you explained the appeal, I guess, or like the magic, I think is a better
Yeah.
word. The magic behind the black cat showing up. And so it's
The
just
synchronicity and stuff of it.
yes.
It's yeah. And the thing is, like for a long time, I grew up in like an area household that we're scared of superstition.
Hmm.
Or I feel like most of us are believed or raised to believe that superstition is just like, you don't mess with superstition. You don't mess with, like recently heard about something about in Texas, you don't put a cowboy hat in a certain area of a home or else that's disrespect or that's bad luck. Um, or when you see a black cat run across your path, that's bad luck. Or I heard that in the UK, if you see a white cat run across your path, that's bad
Oh,
luck.
oh,
So,
interesting.
yeah, I don't know if that's true, but um, yeah, I mean, for me, black cats used to scare me, and then I was like, wait, why do they scare me?
Mm.
And I'm like, they're just creatures. And then I was like, they're actually adorable, and they're misunderstood, and they're actually super beautiful too. And they also, and I don't know if it's true or not, have a connection to mysticism and
Hmm.
to the unknown and to the ostracized mysticism, um, because so many people are afraid of them. And yeah, that's getting more, I'm realizing my brain is going down a path of like thinking of more innate natural spirits that we tend to be afraid of, like I don't know. Now I'm thinking about like forest or like forest type spirits that we don't talk about because it's scary or whatever. But
Mm.
yeah, things that we don't understand and we tend to put fear behind it, but then they actually are good. They're part of life on this earth.
Yeah, it I was thinking about magic like existing in the world. And I was
Yeah.
thinking about how like the people who, and this is a generalization and an opinion, obviously, but it feels like a lot of the people who sort of reject the notion that like magic exists in the world,
Yeah.
like I feel like there's a connection between that and a disconnect to nature because I think it's
Yes.
it's so hard to look at nature. Even like I was thinking very narrowly about flowers. It's so hard to look at the flowers that exist. Like nature made those. And so it's hard to then also be like, but magic isn't real. And so anyway, that was sort of the connection that I made in my brain is like, oh,
Yeah.
I feel like the ability to believe in the wonder of magic, there's some sort of connection to like how much you are connected to nature or really sort of even just aware of like what happens in nature.
Yes. Yes. And I totally agree with that because once again, the power of wonder.
Mhm.
Um, I'm gonna have to reread this book because one, it's an amazing book. It combines the worlds of science with things that we can't really explain, but we can find pathways to find a way to explain it, like neuroscience, epigenetics, all this stuff. It's that bridge, and this book is that perfect bridge between the both of them. But yes, I totally agree with that. And when you said magic and like thinking of like looking at a flower or looking at even like cirrus clouds,
Hmm.
they are so beautiful. And I remember one day this past month in October, I was on my way to an event in DC, which I don't do this. Like that's another thing I got to talk to you about. It was like a month of finally experiencing the world through a new lens of where I'm at today,
Hmm.
including going to events. And on my way to the event, I remember seeing this sky and it was so beautiful. And it was a blue sky with these cirrus clouds that stretched, and they were so wispy. And it wasn't just that, there were these sparks or shards of rainbow in the
Hmm.
sky in between the cirrus clouds, like these beautiful, like edgy, just like shards of like, when you look at glass in some ways, and it was like that, but in
Hmm.
between these odd areas of the sky, in between these clouds, and just it was so awe-inspiring. And I was just like, that's God.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else to say that. Like, that is stunning. And it was just a normal day. And the atmosphere just happened to be in the specific alignment to harness that viewpoint for whoever was up to look at that.
Hmm.
For whoever could see that lens of the world at that moment in time. Stunning. And yeah, when I think of people who don't believe in God or spirituality or whatever it may be, that's okay. I won't judge. But still, there are things that are so awe-inspiring in this world that I do my best to empathize. I come from a UX background from tech. I do my best to empathize with people of all walks of life, but I still haven't quite found a way to empathize with people who don't believe in the power of wonder, of God, of magic, of alchemy. Um, I can't fully understand it, though I can hold space for it. And yeah, when it comes to just like other people who are so caught up in their own worldview that they can't see what's beyond them, that's another story. But I feel like that's another thing. It's like it's so hard. Like how can one look at this magic in our natural world and still think their perspective is the only one and is the only way when there's infinite, you know. There
Hmm.
is no one, it's all. And I don't know why, but I felt like that was from the Quran. But it's just like God is, or just like it is, universe is, love is, infinite.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's another topic. We can talk about it, but it's just, ah, man, yeah, yeah,
I love that. That's so beautiful. And I think that that's actually probably a really nice place to stop because otherwise I think we could go forever.
yes, we can.
But I think that that's just so lovely. And to the people who do maybe still have those like one like my view is maybe they'll get a little bit of magic as we head into this extra magical time of year. And maybe they'll start to wonder about something beyond that a little bit.
Yeah, dude. And honestly, I know we said we'll stop, but this conversation just reminded me, at least the end of it, the magic part, nature, reminded me of a conversation I had with my brother yesterday. And we were talking about like spirituality and stuff. And I don't know how it got to this point, but oh, okay, we were talking about a landscape and how, once again, ghost hunters and stuff, and how they can be so disrespectful to the
Mm.
land when it holds so much. And we were talking about the Island of the Dolls. If you know about it, it's this land in just outside of Mexico City. And
Mhm.
Mexico City has so much history of bloodshed and terror
And before it was Mexico City, it was, I believe, Tenochtitlan, which was the Aztec capital.
Mm,
And that's where Montezuma II was dethroned and Cortez took over. So much bloodshed. So much has happened on that land. And there's so much spirituality in the waters and in the nature. I remember, even as we were talking about this last night, I remembered a quote of something that my grandmother said to us when we were kids back in Guatemala, because she lived in a rural area of Guatemala, very rural, very like dirt floors. That's what she had. Um, and she told my brother and my cousin at the time to be careful going into the water, because my cousin and my brother were going into the water at this like creek that has like rapid waters. And I remember at the time I thought, I wonder if she's talking about the spirits, of the
mhm,
water. And anyway, my brother and I were talking about this because we were watching a ghost hunting show and they were going to the Island of the Dolls. And I believed as I was watching it with him, I was like, I do not like how they're approaching this.
mm,
They didn't ask permission to step on the land before they did. And then they decided to step on this land, this guy who used to live there, that he lived on the island, and then he passed on the island. And they were approaching to talk to him and talk to the spirits there. And then there was like folklore about there is this spirit that took the lives of so many people in the waters because there were waterways that connected to the island. Um, Ancient spirits, uh, like water nymphs, mermaids that were like only ate souls and stuff. Anyway, me watching this, I'm like, listen, if you're going into this whole thing, okay, that's your like decision. You go ahead, do that. But I feel it's so disrespectful to not respect the land itself. But then also thinking about not just the human spirits that have been there over
mhm,
centuries, but thinking about the conversation I started to have with my brother, we started talking about the stories in Ireland.
mhm,
And I remember just learning about how important the fairies are in Ireland and how I've heard that when you go to Ireland, you just feel it's a different air, it's a different place. Um, and I felt that way in the English countryside in
mhm,
specific areas. And I feel like you can feel this anywhere now that I think about it. When you hit these parts of the world that are so natural
mhm.
and untouched in ways that have a lot of history. But anyway, my brother and I were talking about this, and I was like, have you heard of the fairies of Ireland? And I brought this up mainly because there was a Brittany Broski episode that I was listening to, and she was talking about, she was diving really deep into fairies and what they are.
Mhm,
And it's not just like Tinkerbell, pixie stuff.
mhm,
They include like elves and like nymphs and the elemental fairies of the sky, like cirrus clouds are fairies, They're the air fairies that appear as cirrus
mhm,
clouds. And then elves are like woodland fairies that appear outside and they can come into your home and like if you know the Spiderwick Chronicles, it's that too.
mhm,
You know that like I grew up with that movie, so and the book too, so all these things, and we were just talking about it last night, and I knew it was freaking my brother out because he was just
mhm.
like, he never thought about this stuff, and it was late at night, and he was just like, what the hell? It's really interesting to think about these things, and I told him, I'm like, I think about it from an anthropological lens.
Mhm,
I'm truly intrigued by how these things that we've learned about over time and sometimes forgotten about influenced us as humans and
mm,
our ways of life, whether we have adopted them. Um, like I know some people they don't want to mess with other like outside areas too much because you don't want to upset the elves, you don't want to upset the fairies, you don't want to upset the gnomes. Um, and other people are just like, what do you mean? Just cut the lawn, get her done.
yeah.
Um, but I feel like that too is just like such a cool topic to just think about. And if you're interested in it, go do some research. Don't get too scared because also like you can't be scared of everything too. Don't let it take over you. When you do research of any type now they think about it, that is like unknown supernatural. And I guess if you do get scared, just do what you have to do to make yourself feel better, cleanse the air, as long as it's like not destructive. You know, and know that yeah, you're gonna be fine, you're gonna be cool, nothing's gonna hurt you unless you actually go out to do something in an obstructive way. Or, you
Mhm.
know, at least that's what I believe. I don't know. I'm just here, you know, and I hope that wasn't too long of a segue, but I feel like we
No.
talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that was really fascinating. I wasn't aware of a lot of that history that you just shared. So that was really cool to hear like, and again, I think it kind of goes back into that like the nature, the magic of nature and, how connected someone feels to it. And I think that was really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, totally. And now that I think about it, sorry, one more thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, if you happen to know, because I just heard this advice this morning after listening to a podcast, what I would also recommend people is look into your own family history.
Mm,
Look into the history of what's around you. If you want to look more into I don't know, celebrating in tune with what's around you, but also acknowledging what's around you. And if you have traditions in your family that are passed down from generation to generation that aren't very corporate Christmas code themed, you know, or like New Year's corporate code themed, dig into that, get into your own family history, get into the history of where you're from, or just like dig around and look into histories of cultures that you might not be from but you're interested in because
mm,
it's such a beautiful once again tying back into community an uplifting thing to do is to dig back into what unites us and I feel like during this time of the year of renewal as I see it as the new year um, it's definitely focused on community and discovering what's new and if it's not discovering it's rediscovering you know
mhm.
but yeah, totally. I just little tip.
No,
Thanks for digging.
I love that. It reminds me of there's this book that I got. I have not read it yet, but it's We All Eat the Same.
Oh,
And it's this idea of it's stories about how we as people, even though we have different cultures, we all ultimately have like very similar experiences.
yeah,
Um, and it's told through the lens of food. But
yeah,
it was interesting. So to sort of hear that connection of like, oh yeah, I want to read that book. I have it and I just haven't dove into it yet.
yeah. That sounds really good, and it's honestly making me hungry.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
So
this was great.
this was great. Are you ready to do the baker's dozen?
Oh shoot, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. What is in your line of sight at this moment?
My laptop. And I have like two little these little glass, these like riveted glass tea light holders.
Oh my
I
God, are those
know.
from
I got them from
IKEA?
no, they're from wait, they might be. Yeah, I think they were from IKEA. I can't
I
find them
have
anymore.
those.
Yeah, okay, I have two of them. And I was using them to swatch some new watercolors that I got. They're like metallic. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, there's some Osea oil over there because I usually come in here when I'm out of the shower and I like put oil on and yeah, that's like my direct line of sight. Osea oil, uh, empty watercolor containers, and my laptop.
I love that. It's very reflective of you.
Yeah, now that I think about it, yeah. Oh, and two more things because it's right here. Um, two books that I'm using to prop up my laptop because I don't know where the stand is. It's a history of graphic design book, and it's Alexander McQueen's Savage Beauty book. So yeah,
Ooh, so
that's
cool.
amazing. Yeah, if you get your hands on them, go through them, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, Analog or digital?
Ooh, depends, but I love analog nowadays. I feel like most of my time is analog. Yeah, yeah.
I feel like we've had sort of a analog has had a renaissance.
Oh, yes, thank God.
Yeah. Appetizer or dessert?
Oh, it depends. I had an amazing panna cotta the other day, and it was the first time I've had one. And I was like, I
Ooh.
love this. And I had it before I had dinner. So I was like, this is an appetizer and a dessert. So I'll say dessert.
So your last answer actually kind of ties right into my next question. What is the best thing you ate this week?
Wait, oh my God. Ah! Okay, okay. Today's Monday.
Today
Okay.
is Monday.
It was a Monday ago. Yes. Okay. So there was this place that I went to.
I like how
I
you're
went
checking to make sure it aligns.
I know, because I'm like, it's within a week. Yeah, yeah, it is. Okay, great. Um, there was this place that I went to. So a week ago, I was coming back from New York.
Mhm.
It was the travel day. It was Monday a week ago. Today's Monday. Um, I was coming back from New York, driving back down, and on the drive down, I visited my aunt in I almost said New Jersey, in Pennsylvania, and we went to this place that she knows in the Poconos. So, and I was like, oh, the Poconos, cool. You know, never been there, but I've heard about it. Um, and we went to this place. I forgot the name of it, but it served like famous people back in the day. And I was like, oh my God, like that's the Rat Pack right there. Like there's a picture of them on the wall. I'm like, holy shit, okay. Um, and she loved this place for brunch and everything. And I got I got this dish for brunch and it was called the Sweet Baby Jesus.
Ooh.
I know. And I was like, why is it called that? But okay. It had a lot of good food on the menu, but I just went with this because I didn't have breakfast. It was brunch. And it was basically, I forgot exactly what it was, but it was like, I guess home fries is what you call it. Is that what you call like cubed potatoes that
Mhm.
you just like lightly season in the like small fry? Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Home fries, over easy eggs because I wanted them runny. And then on top was like a sauce that reminded me of a bit of a lobster bisque, but
Ooh.
it had crab in it. And there was like chunks of crab and I think lobster too. And then little bits of like Gulf shrimp. It was
Ooh.
so good. It was so good.
Oh my God, that sounds
And
incredible.
yeah, it was so good. And it's making me really hungry now, but that's the best thing I've eaten all week. And that was a week ago. So yeah.
That sounds incredible.
It really was. Yeah.
Wow, now I'm hungry too.
Yeah.
Um, who would play you in a movie about your life?
Well, gosh, I hope it'll be me. 'Cause I really don't know. Um, yeah, I really don't know.
You could say you.
Yeah, I'll go with me because, like, honestly, that's another thing. I don't think I have a celebrity look-alike at all.
Hmm.
People have said to me that I might look like Zendaya from time to time. I'm like, I don't think so.
What is your current coffee order?
Mm, it depends. Gosh. Well, my coffee order, I make it myself usually nowadays. Um, Gosh, I'm trying to think. What was the last coffee I made? Oh no, I wanted to make a coffee today, and I might just in a mocha pot.
Hmm.
Um, it's like one of the small mocha pots, you know. So an espresso, with just a lot of sugar. So I guess like a Cuban style like cafecito. Um, a lot of sugar in it. Just super sweet, strong coffee. And I'm saying that also because I know I just ran out of milk this morning. So milk's out of the picture. Just hit me with the straight, strong Cuban coffee. We'll be fine.
That sounds delicious, honestly.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need that.
Yeah, and not too much too. So just yeah, I
Yeah.
realize also I can't do a lot of coffee nowadays unless I
Mm.
cut it with decaf. Um, yeah, like 8 ounces is my max now, I've realized. Yeah.
It that sneaks up on us, that caffeine.
Jesus.
Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
No, I don't. But I feel like I should. I do a lot of like singing on my own, or at least I used to. I'm saying I used to because now the government shutdowns happen. A lot of my family's at home,
Hmm.
so tighter quarters, and I don't usually sing around my family.
Hmm.
But I think the last time, now that I think about it, it's not a karaoke song now I think about it, but the last time someone heard me sing was my dad, and I didn't realize he was home. And it was True Story by Ariana Grande. And he's like,
Mm.
you were singing in there. I was like, don't talk about me. I was like, stop.
You're like, no, I'm being perceived.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do love to sing Ariana Grande.
Mm.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Um, I was preparing for the event that I went to New York for this
Mhm.
past week, and I was singing 16 Carriages, which I know is a really hard song, but I just started singing it as I just had it on my phone. It was playing. I was doing my makeup, and I was like, "Oh, I'm actually keeping up with this pretty well." I didn't expect that, and I was like, "Okay, okay." So yeah, let's go with I don't know, something from Cowboy Carter or from Ariana Grande's latest album, which I forgot the name of, but it has True Story on it.
I know I can see the album cover, but I
Yeah,
cannot
yeah.
think of what it's called.
Yeah, it
Um,
has all those songs.
yeah. I mean, I think those are perfect go-tos.
Yeah.
Is there a gadget that you can't live without?
Gadget, does it? Hmm.
Whatever gadget means to you.
Yeah, I was like, what type of gadget could it be? Could it be like a compass? I don't know. Though I
Sure.
don't use a compass. Gadget. I'm really trying not to say my phone or my laptop. I'm really trying not to. Um, let's go with headphones. Let's go with headphones because I love to listen to music in solitude, you know.
Mm.
And if it has noise cancellation, great.
Even better.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so perfect segue into, is there a song that you would want in your biopic?
I mean, yeah, I suppose. Actually, yeah, 16 Carriages. Because honestly, okay, I know so many people like that song and it hits home for a lot of people, but for me, that song hits so home. It's so home. Um, because I remember the first time I heard the song, I started crying.
Mm.
Um, one, because I was going through a corporate breakup. I didn't realize it at the time. And I was so just like drawn out and burnt out when I heard the song. And when I heard it, it just gave me hope of like, I can get out of here. But also, it reminded me of when I was 15, because she starts with talking about when she was 15 and all the shit that she went through and
Mhm,
watching her family just go through all this stuff and having to still find a way to keep going. And I went through stuff like that when I was 15. When I was 15, our house was foreclosed on, and I
mhm,
had to start new in a new home, new place. We somehow got out with like just like by the skin of our teeth, you know.
mhm,
We really didn't have much. And it was such a tumultuous time.
mm,
Um, but it made me, even though today I'm still healing from it,
mhm,
and I'm pretty sure that's why when I first heard that song, I just started crying. Um, and today when I hear it, I'm just like, I have gone through the ringer, but I'm still here. I've gone through the ringer in different things, different aspects, but like I'm still here, I'm still working, trying to find my balance, you know.
mhm,
I'm trying to create my
mhm.
own sense of what career means to me, sustainable career. Yeah. So yeah, 16 carriages, definitely.
Good pick. I think
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. That's a good one. Is there somewhere on your travel bucket list that you want to go?
Yeah, a few of them actually. Like places I've never been, right? Is that the bucket list?
Mhm.
Okay. Um, yeah, there's like a few of them that come to mind. There's one that's coming to mind. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go because it's a very long flight. But I would love to go to Seoul,
Mm,
South Korea, Melbourne, Australia.
mhm,
I would love to see the Great Barrier Reef, hopefully before it all goes to chloral bleach.
mm.
Um, that would be amazing. Um, Geez, I'm just gonna be spitting out some. I'm sorry. Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia. I would love to visit parts of China someday. And I'm saying someday because I know there's strangeness between the United States and China. And I want
Mhm,
to respect it, but I love Chinese history. It's incredible incredible when it comes to how much they've been through, what they've done. Okay, let me get off that. That's a history bag. Um, and I feel like, I don't know, with other things, it's like Florence, Venice before Venice flood. Um, I'd love to go to Denmark.
Mhm.
Uh, Paris, I feel like that's everything everyone says is Paris. But yeah, I don't know. I would love to visit places that just itch that history, history scratch.
Mm.
History scratch. Um, that just intrigue me, you know.
I love those places that have um a lot of a deep history, places that
Yeah.
are, there's a lot that's happened there and to sort of then be able to see it.
Yeah, but then also I'd like to just see like the aspect of like I can just look at this view and just be entranced by it. Yeah, and just
Love
be
that.
happy.
Yeah. Um, okay, so I know I asked this one last time, but celebrity crush.
Oh goodness. Okay, it's changed. It's changed, but I gotta say
Ooh.
nowadays, yeah, because it's just like something sparked in my soul. I'm like, okay, wow. Um, I know we spoke about it. We spoke about so many last time. And I think it was such a fun time talking about it. But this one also is like a bit of a childhood crush that I didn't realize I had. I just thought like, oh, this guy's cute. And okay, keep going with my life. Came back into my orbit because of this show that I love. And I was like, oh, my heart. Okay, that's real. And I found out he has a dog, and I'm like, oh my God, the dog is adorable. Um, yeah, and anyway, Logan Lerman. And if you
I
don't know
know.
him,
I
he
know the name.
yeah, he was Percy Jackson in the Percy Jackson two movies that he did. And
Yes.
I had a huge crush on him when I was like a teenager, and I was like, um, and now he's been, I think, in a movie called Ojai. And also he is in Only Murders in the Building, and that's
Mhm.
when I first saw him recently, like, oh,
You're
oh my God.
like,
Um,
it's you.
yeah, I'm like, wait, what? You're still around? Shouldn't say that. But you know, some people as child actors, they go and do whatever life opens up to show them. But he's still here, and I remember there was a Brittany Broski Royal Court episode that he did, and I was like, oh my God, yes. And then another Cosmopolitan interview that he did, which reminded me of like, oh yeah, Cosmo.
Mhm.
This is like the vibe that we're doing too.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, oh my God, this is just he is he just seems like a sweetheart. He seems like a funny goofball and like introspective as well, love nature, has a dog that he loves so much. And I'm just like, yeah, yeah. If I don't ask for much, you know. Um, but it just he makes me so happy. I don't even know him,
Yeah.
but I feel like we'd be great friends if anything. Um, yeah, and there's more that I can talk about. Do you want me to go over the list that we did last time? There's a
If,
list of people.
I
But
think our list got up to 10.
yeah, okay, we can just leave it. We can just leave it at Logan Lerman, but I don't know. He sparked my fancy again in the best way.
Oh, I
He
love
also just
that.
has beautiful eyes. He has beautiful
Yes.
eyes, and I don't know, man. It's just cool. He's just cool from what I can see. I'm sure he's just a normal human being, like everyone is, but I don't know. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's
And
also
there's more I can go into too, but I'm gonna stop.
no, it's really funny how last time I asked that question, you were like overwhelmed because there were so many. And I love how this time you were like, well, let me lock in on this one guy. Locking
Mhm.
it. But I have this one that's at the front of my mind right now. I love
Yeah,
that.
because I literally just finished the season last night of Only Murders
Mhm.
in the Building. I'm like, oh, and like he went to jail, no. But also like he did like a good thing. His character was building and like yeah. And then also I found out that Selena Gomez had a crush on him too. And
Oh,
then they were love interests in the show. I'm like, okay, so she found a way to do it.
yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool. I don't know, to just like get that reminisce and be like, okay, this is actually an authentic, like
Mm,
true want that I've had since I was a kid, which sounds weird to say, but yeah,
I love
intriguing,
that.
intriguing. Yeah.
And now it's come back around.
Yeah.
Probably a synchronicity.
We shall see. I don't know. We shall see. I am happily single. That's another thing. But yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it's just something that helps sort of fill your cup for right now.
Yeah. Which I'll take too.
Okay. What is the last thing that you Googled?
I used my phone for it. Um, let me see. Recent search. Wait, wait, that is not my most recent search. This was from a week ago. Hold up. I think it's on Safari. Man, I know I Googled something else. It was a recipe, I think. It was like, what is this in the recipe? Oh, it was I was looking up what an Indian meal was
Mhm.
specifically because I was Uber Eatsing the other day.
Ooh.
And I was like, what is this dish that I see here? Because it didn't really have a description.
Mhm.
And it was it said chat papri, which I'd never seen before, but I love chat. I
Mhm.
do. It's just so nice. They're just like Indian nachos. It's so cool. Um, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the last thing I looked up, but what did come up was uh mushroom bacon because I saw it on Shark
Ooh.
Tank when I was when I was in New York. I saw it on Shark Tank and I was like,
Mm.
mushroom bacon. So that's what popped up, but I know for certain it was what is it, chat papri. So yeah, food.
Food.
Just food. Yeah.
I love those. That and I'm hungry again.
I know, I'm sorry. I am too.
That's okay. That's okay. We have made it to question number 13. What is the best advice that you have ever received?
Oh yes, we spoke about this before.
Mhm.
Um,
It doesn't have
we
to be the
spoke
same bit though, if something else is coming to mind too. Don't feel like you
it
have to remember what that one was.
oh no, it still is that
Oh,
though.
good,
Because
good, good,
it
good.
has to do with like the audacity aspect, and I feel like I've been fine-tuning it since I told you about it before, but there was a piece of advice that an old mentor of mine gave me. And she said she was I think she still is too. Um, at the old company that I used to work at, this corporate tech company, she has a beautiful career in marketing. She worked her way up into this, not just the company, but up through her career. And there was this point in time where I went to her, and I think I was crying or like on the edge of just crying because I had once again another not interview, even though it felt like one, with my boss at the time, and he was asking me to prove myself. And
Mhm.
like, what have you done to prove yourself? And like, this isn't enough, and you need to do more. And I went to her, and I was like, what do you suggest? You know, because I need help, and like, can you just give me something to hold? You know, just hold to me
Mhm.
as I figure this mess out. And of course, she told me to keep going. But what she did say is, she said, and she works in Manhattan. She lives in the Manhattan area. She was like, "Do you know how many white boys who are fresh out of college walk into my office and demand the job that they think they deserve? And not just that, but the salary that I have with that job, with no experience." And she's a black woman, by the way. And she was like, just remember that there's always going to be people who, she didn't say this, but have the audacity to
Mhm.
ask for what they deserve and have that unshakable. confidence in themselves, that backbone. Um, and they get what they want most of the time.
Mhm.
You can see it in our president. Um, but that's basically the advice she gave me is like, there's so many boys who walk into my office and demand these things. They don't get it, but that doesn't stop them, you know?
Mhm.
And you need to do that for yourself because as women, especially as women of color, but all types of people who are marginalized, we are used to getting less and keeping our head down and being like, okay, okay, we work with what we got, we keep
Mhm.
going. It's that scarcity again.
Mhm.
Um, and she's like, you have this within you that is, you know that you deserve more. So keep going, keep going. And what I can say now is have the audacity to keep going, have the audacity to be curious, have the audacity to fail, have the same audacity of these, I'm sorry, but these weirdo men who creep into DMs have the audacity of these weirdo people who sneak onto your comments and comment the dumbest shit because they have the audacity and the confidence that even if they look stupid, they don't care. They've gotten the attention. They
Mhm.
don't care. They've gotten what they needed from this. And if they get more from it, great for them. And that's what keeps them going. And that's their prerogative, whatever. I don't agree with it because it's disturbing behavior. But take the little notes from it of the audacity and the confidence and keep it close to your heart and just keep going.
Mm.
Because we're all gonna fuck up, we're all gonna fail, we're all gonna fall flat on our face, sometimes our ass, and it happens. You can get ice, you can get ice, you can keep going, but just remember what pushed you to ask for more and
Mhm.
what is making you want more in life, you know. So yeah, have the audacity.
I
And I feel like
love
I'm gonna
that.
make content around this soon, so yeah.
It's it's a beautiful sentiment, and I think it's a reminder that a lot of us need. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
This was so fun. I'm so glad we got to connect. We've been doing, the voice notes for a long time, and so to be able to see you again was very nice.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I was gonna say, how's Penelope doing?
She is under the desk. She has been touching my entire pant leg. She sheds. So my
Yeah.
like entire pant leg is covered in her. So she, once we're done, I'm gonna take her outside. Hopefully that will resolve
Yeah.
whatever is going on with her.
Yeah.
But I've absolutely loved this conversation, and I love anytime that we talk, I love how I feel like there's all these different strings that connect, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to be able to have that type of conversation again has been so fun. Um, and so for anybody who has listened and they've connected with what you've said, they're interested in learning a little bit more and connecting with you, where can people go to connect with you?
Yeah, totally. As the economy has been really wild and crazy, I don't know what it will be like as we start the new year, but I love to talk, as you can see. I love to have conversations with people, and specifically, I love to help people problem solve around their creative blocks, you know. Um, and what I am loving to offer nowadays, as I understand, most people do not feel comfortable spending thousands of dollars right now when, as of, today, November 3rd, Snap is like out of the picture for a lot of people. The
Mhm.
government's been shut down. I think this is the longest shutdown in history. People are very aware of where their money is going.
Mhm.
And I want to also reflect that I'm aware of that too. So, what I can offer to people who are more uh, a little self-conscious about the spending
Mhm.
behind their business or behind the brand if they don't have like a full business yet is I offer creative consult sessions. And what I will be doing is offering smaller sessions for smaller budgets of price,
Mhm.
smaller spaces of time. But no matter what, whatever we agree on, you will leave the session feeling amazing, feeling great about whatever you came in feeling like not so great about. So yeah, if you want, I can give you like the link to the application page that I have for people who want to, go through whatever creative blocks that they have behind their business or their brand, how they're showing up on social. Um, and yeah, I'll give my UX marketing perspective, but also like my intuitive flow too.
Yeah.
Um,
For people who are listening, if for some reason you're not sold already, I leave every conversation that I have with Alyah absolutely just so motivated and inspired, and so I can absolutely attest to her magic.
Thank you. Oh my God. Yeah. Even just that, like the magic behind leaving a space that feels so like beautifully electric, you know? And
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to, as of right now, tell people like, hey, this is cool, you know? And yeah, I'm just getting started with it. I had one session with a friend who was my little guinea pig at the time. And yeah, you leave every session with like a game plan and a little document that we work on together, we collaborate on, and you get to keep it. And yeah, and then also if you're not that interested in that, if you just want to keep up with whatever I just happen to be doing, I will send you my overall links page that I have on my website because it has
Perfect.
my Instagram, my TikTok that I don't really use, and my Substack that I do use very
Mhm.
often. Like I think I'm going to put out a post today and my YouTube as well, other stuff as well, but there you'll be able to like look around my website if you want, look at my services because I have a service guide on that page that I send you. And yeah, now that I think about it, wherever I post on what feels right to me. I'm
Mhm.
very big on like intuitive and conscious posting. I don't stay on my phone all the time. So if you're looking for someone who will be always, always, always on, I can't guarantee I will be like that. Sometimes I might be, sometimes I might not, but I feel like the people who have stayed around, they're not that type of people. Like they'll stay around because they enjoy the intention. So
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
send you those links. But yeah.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this was so incredible. I'm so glad we got to make it happen.
Yes. Oh my God, finally. Yeah. I mean, like we've spoken about this for so long already, but I'm glad it's come together.
Yes, me too. And I think it's a beautiful conversation, and I can't wait for people to hear it or read it.